Hey, this is Jordan from Jersey, and this is what I thought of Lost Season 6, Episode 5, Lighthouse. And that's right, slight renumbering. LAX was technically 2 episodes, so I had been going, 2, 3, 4, but we're going to call this one Episode 5 and go from here. Now, before I get into my review, I just want to thank the guys at the Legion of Dudes podcast for having me on. I actually just got done recording a probably about an hour-long, 45-minute, hour-long review of the episode with them. You can check that out at hhwlod.com. That's hhwlod.com, and I'll put a link over in the show notes. But check them out. They do Lost reviews every week. They do comic reviews, all kinds of great stuff. They have 2 feeds, and it is some awesome podcasting. So check that out. And thank you guys for having me on. It was a lot of fun. But on to the review. Lighthouse was an awesome episode. I said last week, if we don't get any more answer on the numbers, I'll be happy with what we got last episode in Substitute. I'm definitely really happy now, because now we have a definite origin, almost. An explanation of why the numbers are what they are. Why is Jack 23 and not 24 or not 42? We know why now, and I thought that was awesome. So this was an awesome episode for Hurley, who got in some great lines about lying to samurai and Star Wars with references to Obi-Wan Kenobi, but it was actually a Jack episode. And I'm not always huge on Jack episodes, to be honest, but this one was very good. We got to see Jack's son. Surprise, surprise, Jack has a son in the alternate reality, and his name is David Shepard, because what else would it be? Turns out why his father and grandfather are both gifted surgeons. David's also very capable with his hands, as he is a very gifted virtuoso pianist. And who else is a gifted musician? Apparently Dogen's son in the alternate reality. Who knew? Now, back on the island, Hurley and Jack escape the temple, kind of, because they're candidates and they can do what they want. So why don't you go outside? Or at least that's what Hurley tells Dogen. Hurley and Jack make their way up to the lighthouse on the island, which they've never seen before, but maybe that's because they weren't looking, according to Hurley. And once Jack kicks the door down, they make their way up to the top and find a list of everyone's names and their numbers and how that relates to Jacob. Apparently, Jacob can see them from the island using his lighthouse mirrors. Turn to a person's number, and you can see something from that person's life. In Jack's case, it's his childhood home. Well, this doesn't make Jack too happy, and he takes the equivalent of a baseball bat to the mirrors and breaks them, and then goes to look at the ocean for a while. But according to Jacob, that's what Jack needed to find his path, so it was all part of the plan. Meanwhile, Claire brings Jin back to her camp, which is crazy, just like her, and she patches up his leg. She also brings the other, who's not Aldo, back to her camp. Sorry, dude, I forget your name. And she proceeds to question him about her baby, who she believes the other has, and then she puts an axe in his chest when she doesn't get the information that she wants. Jin starts playing with fire, first by telling her that Kate has Aaron, which is the truth, and then backtracking once he finds out that Claire is planning on killing Kate, if that was the truth. And then we finish out the episode when Claire's friend comes to visit, and it's none other than the Man in Black, the Smoke Monster, Cerberus, John Locke. So needless to say, at the end of this episode, it appears that the fit is about to hit the shan. And things are going to get interesting, and I cannot wait. So, one nagging question from the episode is, who is David's mother? Is it Sarah? Jack was married to her in the Prime timeline, and it seems that ABC would not have a problem getting the actress, considering she's on Modern Family at the moment, which is an awesome show, by the way. So why not show her? It is mentioned that David had a reaction to a funeral, and while we might assume this was Christian Shepherd's funeral, could it also be his mother's? It's not entirely certain. Also, Jack has a scar on his stomach from his appendix being removed. Now, this happened way back in Season 4, Episode 10, when Juliet took it out on the island. However, Jack's mother says that his father took it out on the mainland. So, what's going on there? It could mess with my time travel theory from my first Lost episode just a bit, or maybe not. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's very interesting. That scar looked kind of fresh. Well, that's it for what I thought of Lost Season 6, Episode 5, Lighthouse. Big thank you once again to the guys at Legion of Dudes for having me on the show. Check them out at hhwlod.com. That's hhwlod.com. A lot of great podcasts every week. If you're interested in comics or Lost or anything nerdy, quite frankly, that's the place to go. They've got it. It's awesome. I'll see you next week. Please subscribe. Check me out on Twitter, twitter.com/JordanFromNJ, or here on YouTube at youtube.com/JordanFromJersey. Have a great week. Can't wait for the next episode of Lost. See ya.